Hello and welcome to the introduction to the online mini lecture series for the International Summer School, New Urban Life Across the Globe, Activism and Change in a World of Cities. My name is Rasmus Elling. I'm an associate professor at the Department for Cross-Cultural and Regional Studies at the University of Copenhagen, also known as TORS. I teach Middle East Studies and Global Urban Studies, and together with my two colleagues, Professor Amanda Hammer, who is the Director for the Center for African Studies at the University of Copenhagen, and Associate Professor Anders Bloch from the Department of Sociology, I'm organizing this summer school for you. Starting this year, for the first time, it's the debut, so congratulations. You're the pioneers. The first students to test the learning process that we put together for this summer school. So welcome. We come from quite different backgrounds. So Amanda's background is in development studies. She's from Zimbabwe and has worked with Africa over many years, both as an officer in the public sector and as a scholar and researcher. And this is just a handful of her publications that I have selected. You can look up the full references for Amanda's work on the Copenhagen University website. I'll put a link in the comment section under the video on YouTube. Anders Bloch, on the other hand, is a trained sociologist. He has worked on environmental sociology, the sociology of science and knowledge, and pragmatic social theory. He's done research in Europe and Asia. And again, this here is just a selection of some of Anders' many publications that are relevant for this summer school. Again, I'll post a link to his full list of publications in the comments below the video. My own background is actually in Middle East studies. I've studied Persian language and Iranian studies, and I focused my research on the modern history and the sociology of Iran. These are some of my relevant publications. I've worked on particularly on an oil city in the Persian Gulf called Abadan, but also on Iran's capital, Tehran. So what brings us together? Well, the urban, of course. And this is the great strength and promise of the urban as a field of study. It can bring together a broad range of academic disciplines and scientific approaches and theoretical frameworks into one common field. And interdisciplinarity is definitely a key word for this summer school. We hope to bring together very different traditions in order to focus on the question of what is urban politics today? How does the urban and the political exist in one field together? What role does political and social activism change and social change play in the city on both the global and local scales, in the global north and in the global south? And how are these different urban political phenomena interrelated, and how are they different? And more generally, how does change come about in an urbanized world, in a world of cities? And we're very happy also to see that you come from very different backgrounds. We have students from a broad range of disciplines and from a range of countries who have enrolled for this summer school, and that's very exciting. We're looking very much forward to learn from each other, to challenge each other, and to meeting you, discussing with you, and developing our ideas together with you. So another final interest we have in common that you may already have seen on the screen here is ethnography. And yes, you're going to do ethnography for this summer school too. So we send you an email explaining that in order to participate in the summer school, you're required to engage in a series of pre-summer school activities. And these activities include reading the syllabus while thinking about a topic of your own choosing, designing your own short ethnographic exercise or mini field work project, and then carrying out that mini field work project, and collecting your preliminary findings in a draft synopsis and submitting that synopsis before the summer school so we can read it and give you feedback on the second day of the summer school already, so you can continue working on that synopsis throughout the summer school process. And because we also wanted to be a collaborative process, we ask you to also read the draft synopses submitted by other students assigned to your team, and I'll return to that later. We will divide you into groups or teams, and you will give each other feedback during the summer school. So I guess point one is simple. I mean, you've all received the syllabus already, and you should hopefully be well into reading the reading process now. Regarding the other points, we already emailed you some information, as I said, and at the end of this series of mini lectures, I'll return to this question and talk more about the ethnographic exercise, about your mini fieldwork project, and about the draft synopsis. But for now, I would like to introduce the series of online mini lectures that we've prepared for you. So the point of the mini lectures is to inspire you. You don't have to adopt any of these methods here. Of course, you're very much welcome to use them, but more generally, we hope that the mini lectures can serve as an inspiration as you decide on how to go about collecting your data and knowledge for your project. Each lecture consists of 2 segments of roughly 10 minutes each. And the first lecture is by Anders Bloch. It's a general lecture on urban ethnography in broad strokes. The focus is on the core methodological issues in urban ethnography. In the second part of the lecture, Anders will discuss new developments in urban ethnography by giving you some practical examples. In the second lecture, Amanda Hammer introduces moving methodologies, go-along methods, walking interviews, walking narratives, and walking alone methods, which in the second part of her lecture is backed up by practical examples. In the third lecture, Anders Bloch looks at situational mapping as a process of analysis that is particularly well suited for the study of urban life. And in the second segment, Anders shows how he has used situational mapping in his own research. So for each of these lectures, there are also a couple of required readings. So we ask you kindly for the first lecture on urban ethnography to read the Peter Jackson text on urban ethnography. It's a classic in the field. For Amanda's lecture, we ask you to read the article on street phenomenology and the go-along as ethnographic research tool. And for Anders Bloch's final lecture, we ask you kindly to read the Clark article on situational analysis and grounded theory. So grab your pencils, sharpen your ears, open your minds, and get ready. We hope you enjoy these lectures.